Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark movies.
Oh, hi there. Just in the middle of a groundbreaking book. I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark movies.
And I'm Greg Grunberg, and I am one of the best actors on the planet.
And this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark is his podcast. Can't hear you.
Well, hello, everybody. It is great to be here today.
Just the four of us.
Just the four of us.
Oh, man.
Yep.
A great book.
Just the four of us.
I'm sorry that you'll be watching my assistant, and he can't speak, but
I'm Jonathan, and I despise Hallmark movies, but you wouldn't know that because I'm a ghost, and apparently I don't get introduced.
That's right. Now, you may be asking yourself, this is a fall movie with seemingly all Gentiles in play. What is Jonathan Shapiro doing on the program?
I was wondering that.
Jonathan, you want to tell everybody what you're doing on the program? It's good to see you as always, sir.
Sort of.
I don't really know what I'm doing on the program, except I'm promoting a book I wrote called How to Be Abe Lincoln with my How to Be Abe Lincoln podcast co-host Greg Grunberg, but you wouldn't know that based on the introduction.
We've got a legendary character actor, Greg Grunberg, here.
That's right.
Heroes, Alias, The Boys, Star Wars. You may have heard of him.
All of which should be paying him more in
money.
royalties.
That's
That's right. Absolutely.
Call this guy. No joke.
thank you very much.
And these guys do a podcast based on the book. We were on the podcast, but I got to be honest. It's been a while since I've bought a paper copy of any book, but this was not on Audible, and it was worth the buy. And I got to tell you guys, contrary to what you may think based upon his appearances, Jonathan Shapiro is a storyteller and a funny dude. I mean, just a funny, insightful. I'm not done yet. I love the acrostic, though, of this. I love Abraham Lincoln, and I'm still learning here. And it's the American Bar Association. Can you get like law school credit for this book, Jonathan? Am I mistaken there?
You get law school credit, and they'll represent you in one divorce proceeding.
Fantastic.
What a deal,
man. Well,
so there's no mystery as to why there isn't an audible version of this book. If you don't have a microphone, you can't record an audible version.
It's just Jonathan yelling at you. Breaks out every couple.
Hear every third word. And
Lincoln!
Exactly.
Like to laugh!
theater.
President murdered.
Imagine if that's how you found out.
Also, the showrunner of Touched by an Angel wrote him a blurb on the back. So it's destined.
How about that?
I know, right?
You guys think,
Okay,
you
Jonathan,
guys think
I'm sorry. Every time you speak, I can't have you leaning into my crotch. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Shattering his dreams.
Your mic works.
Yeah, I liked it.
There are 8 nights of Hanukkah. One of those nights must include a microphone.
And
I'm gonna make sure.
Go buy the book, guys. Forward by David E. Kelly, who is continuing to let Jonathan ride his coattails, and he does a great job there too. So what an absolutely wonderful book. You really do need to check it out. I love it. I teach college level U.S. history. My students are gonna be getting a lot of this in the coming months when we talk about.
It's shorter than I thought it was going to be.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a perfect
Which
length.
is a compliment, Jonathan. I can only read so many words, and so
Really
this
good.
is actually right up my alley.
I will do the Audible version, Jonathan, if you let me. I'll do it.
I would love that. I would love that. Do you have a microphone?
We do have a little bit of audio equipment around here. Yes.
No one's a bigger audio snob than Jonathan Shapiro, so I do. I want to make sure we're good to go. Hey,
I have no defense. So just so you know, everything that comes after this, You're just kicking a guy with
This is right where we want you.
Before we dive into this movie that we're going to attempt to cover today, Jonathan, you did write this book. You also decided to do a podcast by the same title, which is a genius marketing, by the way. How did that come to be? And it's the reason why both of you are here. So how did that kind of come collectively together?
Well, since you can hear me, I'll tell you that. So Jonathan and I have been friends for a very long time, and we actually wrote a pilot that for CBS, and it's so odd that we watched this movie. The coincidence is unbelievable because our show involves ghosts and people that are dead and interacting with the living, and so when we watched this, we were like, wow. Okay, and that's pretty good. And we were picking it apart and texting back and forth. It was almost like a live chat. But I have all we do is get together and giggle and laugh and have fun. And Jonathan, is one of the best people that I know. On the podcast, How to Be Abe Lincoln, we talk about how incredible Abe Lincoln was and how you can aspire to be. That's what the book is. It's 7 steps. Look at all these aspects of Abe Lincoln and try and apply them to your life today, or can you? And Jonathan's laid it out so brilliantly in the book, which I still have to read. But we get together and we giggle and laugh. And I said to him, I hate you all. I said to him, I was like, Jonathan, I have a podcast studio. I do a podcast called Talk About It. I do other things. You know this. You've been on my podcast. Let's do this together. And Nick Marzok produces, and we just have a really fun time like you guys do. But it's much more educational than I would imagine. I'm not gonna learn anything today with you guys.
You'll probably end up dumber.
You're gonna get dumber from this podcast. This is going to take the edge off. It's apparently like a lot of drugs. Infiltrate your life. No, the book, How to Be Abe Lincoln, I wrote it, and I wrote it to be a self-help book. So those are about 160 pages. So I'm really trying to give you a practical way into Lincoln. But the only person I could do this with, except you guys, is Greg Grunberg. And he is, in Hollywood, considered truly one of the greatest, nicest, most reliable guys that exist, which is why J.J. Abrams has been his best friend since elementary school, and why he's in every single big movie, and why he makes his whole life going to Comic-Con and letting anime people sit on his lap.
Wow.
That's true.
Yeah.
Man.
Which I get to do for free because I do the whole podcast right on his lap.
Wow.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, you got to find
That's true. That did take a little while to get used to, but you get used to it.
You did.
Yeah,
We wore shorts. You guys were staring our legs.
That's
so
exactly
it was
right.
One of these
That's
things
exactly
where
right.
each
But our
And by the way, I can't eat ham, obviously, because it's not kosher, but I've never seen 4 sets of ham hocks like I saw.
That's true.
That was some pure, delicious Smithfield yummy. And thank you.
By the way, I'm not new to the Hallmark world. I have been on a Hallmark movie, and I did not bring any references to it, nor will I tell you which movie that was, because it's one of those, man, where it was just the one we just saw is fantastic. This one that I did was not so great, but also I'm in a band that I started originally for charity called Band from TV. Now that it's called the Action Figures. Everybody on stage has an action figure. They're all actors that you recognize. And I started this whole thing with James Denton, who's a huge Hallmark guy from Desperate Housewives, and now he produces and he actually sang on one of these things. There was music involved in one of the movies that I'm sure you guys are aware of. But anyway, so
are you going to come on as my guest basically and be more impressive than me so they don't want me anymore? Because what kind of a competitive jerk are you?
I can't hear you. Can anybody hear?
I got.
You write it down.
I got to be honest. The other thing, if you're watching on philo.tv/DTH, you're in for a real show. The back page of How to Be Abe Lincoln does
spoiler
have
alert
about the
cover
author.
your ears.
Oh, about the author.
And then he died is the very it's the last page. I found out that Jonathan attended UC Berkeley, Harvard University, and Oxford.
That's it.
just those three fly-by-night schools.
Same.
That
Fact check
probably
that.
won't make it. And he was a Rhodes Scholar, apparently named after James Rhodes from the Avengers. So all things that I learned about Jonathan Shapiro.
Well, there you go.
So he painted fire hydrants during the summer too.
Hard to be more impressive than that list right there, sir. That's doing something.
Hold on.
Well, a lot of good it's done me. I don't own a microphone, and I have to be on this thing.
That's fair.
I dropped out of San Diego State University. I had to do it on my own free will. This guy's leaning on diplomas and education. That's not the way you do it, Jonathan.
It's kind of cheating. And the truth is, had Clemson let me
That's
in,
right.
I'd have
That's right. Go Tigers. You get it.
Then
Go
you'd be
Tigers.
insufferable though.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey guys, thank you. This was fun. I'm sorry we didn't get to the movie. But
That's a good.
Merry Christmas.
Let's try to get to the movie.
try.
Let's
Get
get
as
to the
far as
movie.
we
We're
can.
talking about
Let's do it.
3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ghost. Best title of the year. Originally,
no, that's not the title that came up when I watched it. It was 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ghost, no script. That's what it said on the screen. That's what I saw.
this guy
love
over
it. I
here.
love it. I
this
love it.
guy.
I'm
For those
joking.
of you.
I'm kidding.
He's kidding, folks. For those of you that did not see it, I will tell you about it. Originally aired on October 7th, 2023, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off. It's the Roaring 20s, and we're at a party. It's Ruby's birthday party, and she's just dancing up a storm. A fella in a valet uniform, Charlie, he comes in and is like, hey, let's go talk. Let's talk. I got flowers. She says, I love you, and I will love you forever, but my father would never accept this. He drops the flowers in a it's very serious. 100 years later, we see the same manor. It is boarded up. It is for sale. We meet Anna, who's the real estate agent. She's a fresh new agent, and her first listing is a real beaut. She walks inside and sees a painting of Ruby. She goes to check on the rest of the house, and doors start slamming, and she is shocked to see a woman standing there. She's a ghost, and she's like, what are you doing? And Ruby is like, you can see me? Ruby has apparently never been seen before. So Ruby runs off, and Anna assumes that it's a rival real estate agent playing a prank on her. So she comes back the next day, and she sees her again sitting on the couch, and Ruby is like, oh, hey, I am a ghost. And Anna's like, nah, that's not how this is going to be. But Ruby proves it by running through her. So Anna promptly goes to the doctor. The doctor says, oh, silly Anna, you're at it again. So she goes back to the house, and a fellow named Elliot comes by, who Anna clearly has a past with. He shows up, and he's like, hey, let's, I got some stuff for you. And he cannot see Ruby. And Ruby tells Anna that she's the only one who has ever seen her. And she is committed to no one ever buying the house. So she kind of does like little pranks and whatnot to make sure that no one buys the house. Some potential buyers come in to talk about the changes they're going to make, such as putting a gym in there and whatnot. Anna can see that Ruby is not on board with this. So she tells those buyers to get lost, as any good real estate agent would. Her and Ruby start to bond, and Ruby even helps Anna get ready before she goes to meet Elliot. And Ruby walks outside with Anna for the first time in 100 years, is shocked to see women they're wearing pants in public. It's a lot for her. She goes to meet Elliot, and he tells her that he is moving away, which makes Anna very sad. She tells Ruby that she doesn't want him to move away, that she wants to share a life with him, that she still loves him. So Ruby says, let's get to work then, huh? Anna and Elliot end up going out some more. They dance. They almost kiss. But he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Her dad calls her up and says, hey, I think you're going crazy because apparently you're dancing in the privacy of a house. So you are clearly going insane. So we got to figure this out. So she decides, if I'm going to be crazy, I'm going to be full crazy. And she decides she's going to make the house or petition for the house to become a historical site. Elliot comes by after all of this and sees a picture of Charlie and is like, hey, it was a great-grandpa? Great-grandpa?
No, great uncle.
Great-uncle.
I fell asleep. Are you still talking? Jesus, the long.
Oh my God, this is longer than the movie.
It is longer, but I'm almost done. Sees Charlie and is like, that's my great uncle. And she's like, what? That's crazy. Ruby walks outside, sees Charlie, and is like, I guess it's time for us to go up in the staircase to the heavens. And then Elliot and Anna say, look at that. Can you believe that? And he sees Charlie, so I guess he also now is going to believe in ghosts. She says, I'll tell you all about it later. They kiss what I would define as hard ones, and that, my friends, was 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ghost.
We did it.
We did it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down. Bran needs to up his dosage. Fair enough. Let's take a quick break. I'll see what I can do about that, and we'll break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ghost. Let's break it down. We're going to start with the hot take. It is where we share how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, and I will start with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
What'd you think about 3 bed, 2 bath,
A lot of
1
hype.
ghost?
A lot of hype.
A lot of
around
hype
this one.
here.
Best title of the season in a lot. Like such a great title.
Yeah.
I freaking love this. So at that already, it's at a disadvantage because the title's so good. It didn't disappoint for me. I had a really good time with this. I liked it. Stayed true. I didn't realize. I don't know what it was. I didn't put together that Julie Gonzalo was Blair Crank from Christmas with the Cranks.
She is Blair
she's Blair
Crank.
Crank, everybody.
Holy
Yeah.
What?
What?
Who cares?
Christmas with the Cranks is one
Everybody
of my favorite.
cares.
Everybody.
Christmas with the Cranks is one of your favorite movies?
Christmas movies, yeah.
You guys watching the same movie I'm watching?
It's a great movie. It's a
Great.
classic.
Oh my
Great
gosh.
movie.
A lot of people like it.
Okay.
Once I realized that, this movie can do no wrong. I'm a Blair Crank apologist. Love Christmas.
I saw Blair Crank Apologist live,
did?
and they were
Really good.
so good.
And the sad thing
Oh
though
my
was I
God.
guess like her and Enrique didn't work out so she's
You are really reading into this.
so that was a bummer. The stuff with the real estate, like, man, that's a stretch. I didn't understand that her dad wanted her to take over the company. It didn't click with me. I didn't understand like the levity, like how big of a deal this was. I was just like, oh, she grabbed a real estate license. Good to have it just in case. And then I was like, oh, the whole point is she's supposed to take over this empire. And that's
Which
not
is
gonna
why
happen.
that guy's being a little.
Wait, is that
Yeah.
true? I didn't get that
Yeah.
at all. I didn't get it.
Yeah,
at
so
all.
that could have been a little stronger, I think, up front with that. But I liked it. I had a really good time. Just sad that Blair and Enrique didn't work out. But it looks
that
like
is a
she's
shame.
doing pretty good for herself.
Greg, break this movie down in as much detail as you can for me.
Okay, so I was really pleasantly surprised, and by the way, sitting with my wife who really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. I will not put a really in front of it, just because I, as a filmmaker and as an actor or whatever, I look at the limitations. I've done these movies; they are so much fun to do because it's like summer camp. You are given a limited. I've done big movies and I've done small movies, and when I see something like this that actually gave me the feels at times, I was like, wow. When she's able to actually, forgive me, when she is able to actually walk out of the house and she throws the leaves up in the air, I mean, as dumb as that can be, like there were moments bonding between the two characters. I was like, wow, this is really good. The girl who, from the flapper actress, unbelievable. The guy who I've only seen, the lead guy, his only other credit that I know is that he's on the box for Just for Men, dyeing your beard. He was good. There were, breaking down the actors or whatever. There was only one guy miscast. He's not a bad actor, but he's just completely miscast, and that was the father. I was like, why is this detective acting like her father? That was odd. But I love the idea of taking, one location. John and I know that when you are given one location, we call it a bottle episode on TV shows, where you go, okay, let's just have the whole episode take place. Although they went out to the coffee house and to the carnival. I mean, by the way, the establishing shot of the carnival, and then you cut, inside, and it's a used car lot with all the lights. I mean, there are limitations that that they have to deal with, and they did a great job, man. And I was joking earlier when I said that no script. They hit all the beats. It was Jonathan and I were texting back and forth going, okay, what's the rule? What's the rule? What is it? Why can she see her? What's going on? And it was very sweet. And I am not one to usually enjoy. You guys said it right. The quality of this one was higher than normal, and I thought it looked good. And I don't know. I have to say, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
You guys can call Greg Grunberg once the actors are done, once they get what they well deserve. You call Greg Grunberg and you get him on a Hallmark movie. That's what we need to see.
One that he's proud to talk about.
Look, like I said before, I've done a Hallmark movie before, and it was for the money. And it was like, I have a couple of days, and they'll call you and go, hey, can you come in? We'll put all your stuff on 1 day or 2 days, and that's what I did. And it was fine. It was fun. That was what I expected, and I did get some of my friends calling, going, "Dude, what?" And I'm like, because everybody watches Hallmark movies. That wasn't the best one. This was pretty good, and I would have enjoyed being on this Hallmark movie. I really would have. A couple of my favorite characters, like the other thing that's the limitations when you're watching this from our side, like it's a little inside baseball, but when you have people walking throughout the house that can't speak.
Yeah.
And they're like, what were they, plumbers or painters or
background
something?
actors.
And it's just, it's so bad. They give background actors, but they have to, it's just like, it's so painful. It's like, give them a line, throw them a bone.
Or have them look up when they hear Anna talking to nobody in the room. Like she's having a full conversation with Ruby at one point, and they're just back there like, this is just another day. Just another day.
Yeah.
Another crazy person.
And the gardener but I loved, and there's tiny little things, but I love throwing the flowers and it becomes a tree and all that stuff. It's like, that was, I don't know. It was good.
Jonathan.
I didn't see it.
Thank you, Jonathan.
It's a pass.
No, I saw it. First of all, I'm a little surprised. Greg went on and on. Nobody mentions the fact that since man evolved, we've wrestled with the question of what happens when you die. It's the great secret. It's the great unknowable. It's the basis of all religions. And this movie tells us what happens. I thought it was a documentary. But I can't help but think about what Abe Lincoln would have thought. And in my book, I mentioned the fact that Abe Lincoln was depressive, who was obsessed with death. And let me just read the last 2 lines of his favorite poem, which he always quoted all the time. It was William Knox's poem, "Oh, why should the spirit of mortal be proud?" And the last 2 lines are, "The wise and the foolish, the guilty and just, have quietly mingled their bones with the dust."
Wow.
Way to bring the room down.
I was left with a existential peace that when we die, we get to stay in the same costume, in the same house. We don't put on weight, even maybe when we should. She seemed a little thin to me. But through helping others, we can cross over to the other side, which is apparently what heaven is. And so I'm filled with joy and hope. This movie changed my life.
Wow.
I'm no longer Jewish. Excuse me. Can I finish one sentence, please?
Just one.
I renounce all organized religion that isn't based on this movie.
Wow.
This movie should inspire cult-like devotion. I think the flapper style should be how our priests dress in this religion. I think that everyone involved is an apostle of this religion. And I have no time for anyone else's view on faith, God, or death.
It's a really open-minded thing.
Fair enough.
Really good stuff.
I will say you've done it now. God is going to have you haunted by the skinniest ghost he can find, just to spite you. Just a very hungry ghost.
Ghost of Christmas Skinny.
Well done.
Yeah.
I like this movie a lot. A lot of everybody has already touched on all the reasons to like it, but the best part of this movie are the female friendship between Anna and Ruby. Like those two crush it in this movie. And as much as I like Chris McNally, I don't care at all about him in this movie, because these two friends are just knocking it out of the park. And I felt like once I as much as I loved the leaving the house scene, I just didn't really care about that relationship with Elliot, and so it was going great, and I was having a fun time, and then the romance got involved. Now, the romance is coming, but I almost wish it didn't, just because I felt like that friendship was so wonderful. Obviously, the romance plays into it at the end, and you need that, but man, those two just crushed it, and I would watch another one of those two just hanging out because I thought they were fantastic.
You know what's really hard is that what you're saying is so spot on, because we're not invested in their previous relationship, and they keep talking about that. They keep talking about, well, we all made mistakes, and you did this and you did that. When you hear characters talking about it, but you don't see it, it's a tough one. I mean, Jonathan, as a screenwriter, what would you? I mean, this is a serious question. Like, how?
I'm halfway
through flashbacks.
I'm writing the sequel to this movie. I don't know if I mentioned it. It's a little bit racy. I don't know if Hallmark's going to be up for it, but I found the relationship between the two women to be compelling. So the title of the sequel is The Ghost in Mrs. Muir.
No.
And
Thank you, Jonathan. Dan, what'd you think about this movie?
Never underestimate Hallmark's ability to make ghosts boring.
Oh.
I will say this. Madeline.
Ghost in.
So what?
Did everybody get that, or did that fall out? The Ghost in.
We actually did get
We
it.
heard
Somehow
that joke.
came
if you can
straight
believe
through.
it. Yeah.
Weirdly
It's a
enough.
miracle.
Madeline Arthur, who plays the flapper ghost in this movie that Brian called irresponsible during the preview episode.
Yes, I did.
He read irrepressible as irresponsible, Jonathan, to let you know where he was in reading and literacy.
And that wasn't even my worst mistake.
This is why the whole world versus the phonics reading program is so important. And even in rural, underserved areas, he should have been taught how to read those words.
You would think so. You would think so.
You're joking, but you're 100%. I grew up in Florida.
Yep. There you go. Bingo, bango.
So
we're happy he's here.
Did the best we could.
Yeah, I think Madeline Arthur's the star of the show here. She is wonderful. And you're right, Bran. Her and Julie Gonzalo's relationship is great. And as soon as it extends outside of that, it becomes very boilerplate, very boring, and somewhat, in the case of the father, I agree, miscast. It's unfortunate. I had this really high. I liked the Tamara murder mystery with the ghost in Ireland a lot better than this. Chris McNally is fine. We love Chris McNally. But I think if you had focused more on Madeline Arthur being the lead of this instead of a co-lead or 3 on the call sheet or whatever you want to call her, like, I think that was where the magic was of this movie. So is it terrible? No. Is it well made? There's some really good shots in this movie. They have some fun early on, but as we go, they're like, how can we make this fun ghost story like more just like middle of the road, normal, like our other movies? Like, how do we put it into a normalcy Hallmark Saturday night experience? Whereas I was hoping they would scrap that normal Hallmark Saturday night experience and really lean in to being different. And so that was a little bit disappointing. Is it the worst of the year? Not by a mile, but it was just a little disappointing for me. You know, what's interesting is, budget or not, like, the same problems can apply. I did a movie called The Hollow Man years ago with Kevin Bacon. Yeah. And it was the 5 of us were like, trapped in an underground laboratory or whatever. And it was so just written in the simplest. And I remember we had a script, we had a table read, and we were going to start shooting the next day. And I was like, wouldn't it be more, I was like the young actor, and I'm like, wouldn't it be more interesting if he went out and did X and Y and X and Y? Like, there were so many great opportunities for this. And instead, he went out and he felt the boobs up of one of the girls. And he did that. Like, the most interesting stuff in that movie was he drives up and he looks over and these kids are in the car and he scares these kids. I'm like, that's what I want to see. Go rob a bank. Go do some interesting things. There were so many missed opportunities in this movie as well that I was like, oh, you're going back to, you're just doing like the typical trope, the typical, we call it laying pipe, just moving the story along, when there were so many other great opportunities ghost-wise that they did hit on a few of them. But I just felt like, again, I agree with everybody here. I did enjoy the movie though, as opposed to you. I didn't. And I say that as a guy who wants to be employed by Hallmark. I think
I'm also writing the Greg Grunberg movie that he's going to be in when the strike is done. And it's going to be a Hanukkah movie, and it's called Jaime Grooms and Ghosts.
And I will say this. Had I not seen a Hallmark movie in 5 or 6 years and had an opinion of them and then watched this movie, I would be like, oh my goodness, Hallmark movies are a revelation. They're so much better than I remember them being. So I do think context is important there.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to all the feels before we talk about what in this movie gave us those feels. Brian.
Yeah, a lot of feels, I would say. A lot of feels to go around. I'd like to state mine in a poem, if you don't mind.
I do mind, but I'm going to let you do it anyway. Yeah.
It goes, roses are good, violets are fair, Chris McNally's beard, but oh my gosh, did you see his hair? Whew. The guy is groomed like flawlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah. Now let's talk about hair for a second, because the lead actress, her hair I didn't love, and then all of a sudden, and maybe it was a choice, I doubt it, but I think she started doing her hair halfway through this movie, because in a good way, in a good way, she looked better in the second half of the movie than she did up front. And again, as an actor and having the ego that I have, these are the things I watch. Everybody except for our flapper girl were told to bring their own wardrobe. The lead guy loves that
as he
jacket.
should.
I mean, as he should. And by the way, if that Ford F-150 is for sale, I want that thing. That truck. Yeah, I'd take that over the Mustang in a heartbeat.
And also, if you guys don't know this, the two leads in this movie, Chris McNally, Julia Gonzalo, are married, correct?
Some sort of, Aaron, are they
in
married?
A relationship of some sort.
They should introduce a ghost into the marital
Maybe they have. They don't talk about it.
The lack of chemistry between those two is that marriage based on the desire to shift immigration status? What is going on? And as far as the hair, what are you talking about?
Great hair.
The left side of his head was a Farrah Fawcett flip. And she was wearing a bumpet in the back of her head. She looked like an elf from the Proud Tower. Hair was done with a rake and a tornado. Also, the middle guy, Brian, keeps blinking out SOS.
It is a hostage situation. But Jonathan, while you're ranting, did you have any feels in this movie?
I love that as your feels, though. I want to be
that
clear.
Was wonderful.
No, I do have one. When we're introduced to the ghost and there's the long shot down the hallway, I was actually a little terrified. And it was as scary as the Taylor Swift anti-hero video, which
we've all seen that. We all know what you're talking about.
I have a constant loop here, but no, I just found the movie to be life-changing. Again, I'm going to go back to it. The secret of mortality was revealed to us. The afterlife was shown. And I guess this is what it was like when Jesus was walking around. And guys like Greg Grunberg were scoffing, nailing, and not seeing that the word of God had arrived. Here we see a movie that literally gives us the answer to the eternal question, what happens when you die? And you're talking about hair?
I just don't want it to be missed. That's
That's
to be missed.
No, that's fair. Greg, you mentioned the leaf thing and the walking outside. Would anything else give you the feels?
Yeah, thank you. It's so odd that you're telling me these two actors are married. What's weird is sometimes that happens, right? Where they don't know how, like maybe they're hot and heavy and have a great chemistry in real life, but it was like they were apprehensive, and that
it was
kiss,
hard.
It was like whenever I see actors kiss that way, it's like, dude, someone's giving you the green light, man. Go for it. What are you doing? Like, let's see some tongue. Open that mouth. What are we going? This is Hallmark. This is what people want. They're waiting for this kiss. They're waiting for this moment. I didn't get any feels from that. What I did, though, is, again, going back to our flapper girl, like and she teared up those, she was so well cast. She had those big, beautiful eyes. She's really good. And she gave me the feels when she was talking about, staying and going. That was great. And then again, it's the bonding between those two female characters. There were moments in there that I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Like and by the way, I was looking to not like this movie, guys. I really was. I was like, oh, I'll be that guy. And it was kind of overall. Again, I look at this and I go, missed opportunities. It was kind of like Beetlejuice without the juice, but there were so many moments that saved me because they did those moments right, and the acting was there, and it was solid, and especially with the flapper girl.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but can we go back and talk about the hair? Mainly, and I do want to just say, Jonathan, just if you bear me the time just for a second. We watched Chris McNally on a TV show, When Calls the Heart, here on the Hallmark Channel. It takes place in the 19-teens, and he's buttoned up, all the way up, as many buttons as you can possibly have. In this movie, less buttons. And I'm thankful for that because we found out that he has more chest hair than I do, which is saying something, and it was out there.
It's a sick brag, Brand.
And I'm just happy to see it. I'm just happy to see it. Maybe it stuck out to me more because of how often we see him fully buttoned up, but I was like, look at that guy. Look at that guy. Gave me feels.
Good feels.
Thank you.
These are all really good feels. My feels is a little story called How to Be Abe Lincoln. It's by Jonathan Shapiro. And you can pick it up at Amazon or wherever you buy your books. In fact, go support a local bookstore.
Or you can also listen to it, by the way. You can listen to it. There's a podcast attached.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Look it up in the Spotify and you'll find it.
Apparently episode two or three is really good. Episode 3 is really good.
They're all good.
They're all good.
Alex, great on there.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
On When Calls the Heart, do they address the fact that the actor is a werewolf?
Not yet.
Subcontext, like
That's
very
in
quietly.
Season 11, I think.
That's next season. That's next season.
Yeah.
Crossing our
Fingers
fingers.
crossed, yeah.
Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What and the What the Hallmark here on Deck the Hallmark.
Hallmark. Oh,
You'll get there. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about 3 ghosts. Nope, 1 ghost. The movie we're talking about.
2 best, 1 ghost.
There it is. Let's get to the Wait What, where we talk about one in this movie. Let's go, wait, what? Brian?
Yeah, I'll keep it to 1 so we can move things along here. And
Well done.
There was a scene where her father finally had the realization, like, man, maybe I should have started you on something smaller. Maybe you should shadow me for a little bit, get your feet wet. You think?
You think
Holy cow. Like, she just got a real estate
She passed
license.
her test like last week.
Yeah, the thing hasn't even been printed.
Let's give her the biggest house in our portfolio.
Unbelievable. Like, it was just such an obvious thing. Like, I feel like that could have been done a little differently. And they were just like, oh, maybe I gave you a hard one to start out.
What was your first case out of law school, Jonathan? First one.
It was a prosecution of a defendant whose last name was Outlaw. Who threw a big hunk of concrete through a DC police cruiser's dash window.
Yeah, see, that's a good first case out of law school, right?
I mean, his name's Outlaw. It's a layup.
Guilty. Throws a piece of concrete through glass. You're good. They didn't give you a murder trial. They didn't just jump you right in to the deep end. You got to work your way up there.
Yeah, you got to work your
Simple.
way. Greg, anyway, what's for you?
Yeah, I had a couple of them. First of all, I was waiting for Kevin Bacon to go, "Let's dance." I mean, what? That's the shocking moment. Is she's having fun in the house? The bad guy was wait, what? He was not bad. I just didn't enjoy it.
I don't know. You have bubbles now.
Really great.
That was fun.
Really cool.
Thumbs up. So that was ridiculous. And then at the very end, am I crazy? Or did they say that the house is going to get torn down and they're going to build condos? I was like, did that get resolved?
Yes. The historical, we don't know, actually.
We don't, they never actually.
They introduced an out, which was the Historical Society approving it.
That's right.
But we don't know if it.
Well, no. They said we'll take a vote after. They said it got approved.
No, they never said they
never
got
cleared
approved.
that up.
They said they were starting the process, which in this world,
that was a wait,
that's
what?
may as well
And
as
also,
good as done.
Yeah, and also they go together to that meeting. They're sitting there together, and it's that oh, here we go. Here's the moment we're waiting for. That was just so overplayed. And then she goes to the bathroom and gets a phone call and decides to just leave him there. Doesn't text him. Doesn't nothing. I was like, wait,
Deuces.
what? That was
the trauma there. That's left over from the last time they were together. Read the room, man. You just get send a text or something. Jonathan.
Exactly. He's gone.
Jonathan's gone.
He's in thought. You want to go, Brian?
I'll go while Jonathan tries to figure out his way back home.
Technology.
One, the bad guy that we've talked about here,
Terrence.
the guy Terrence is his name.
Yeah.
Terrence on the street.
At one point, he's like leaning up against a wall. He has a tiny teacup in his hand with the biggest spoon in the world. Terrence, you gotta pick a lane, buddy.
Yeah, that's
Either
tough.
do big cup with big spoon or small cup with small spoon. You can't mix the two because you just look weird.
Nope.
You look weird. You looked weird there, Terrence. And you are weird because you're creeping around taking videos of someone dancing in their house. If dancing alone by yourself in a house is crazy, then call me Charles Manson because I'm the craziest of them all.
That's a bit of a leap.
Yeah.
What did he go to jail for?
A lot of murder.
A lot of dancing.
Yeah.
I thought it was all dancing related. Just call me crazy guy, because that's just
That was Chuck Manson.
that you can't do that. That was Chuck Manson.
Yeah.
Chuck Manson, different Manson
I was heartbroken by that, but that's just me. Dan.
And by the way, the bad guy also, I believe, used his own wardrobe because that shirt collar was so freaking
Yeah.
tight. It was like, dude, come on. I mean, I know, that was an opportunity.
Yeah.
lost, by the
To
way.
me, he looked like Jason Bateman got smacked in the face. I don't
And-
know by who,
yeah.
but by someone.
And
like
Andy Devine, too. Like if
yeah,
they got together.
those two together.
Yeah.
Adam Devine. you mean?
Devine. Adam Devine.
Adam Devine,
Devine
yeah.
or Devine? Adam
Devine,
Devine.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
You were thinking of the Maroon 5 guy.
yeah. Sure was.
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine.
Yeah,
Adam
not
Levine.
like him.
No, not like him. at all.
Hey, Hallmark, I know you're branching out and trying ghost stuff, and I'm really, really happy that you're doing so. If you have one ghost character, they get one over my dead body joke. One.
Yes.
You don't get to go back to that well and act like you've earned more than one over my dead body joke. One is being kind. All right? You should have none. But we're going to give you one because you're new to the ghost game, and we're going to let you have one, and we're going to think it's cute. We're going to laugh. You went back for seconds? No.
You can get more than one of those over
No.
my dead body.
Yeah, there you see.
There it is.
That's how you
That's
do
how you-
it right there.
Thank you.
Absolutely not, Hallmark. Who do you think you are? I am. Next up, Greg needs to join us every episode.
Yeah, he does
This
make
is
me
a
feel
blast.
really good.
Dude, I'm
Yeah,
in.
the inside jokes. I feel like you
Good go. Over our dead.
He's back. He's back.
ghosting. That's nicely done. It's nicely done. I will say this. This ghost has been in this house for 100 years. She has observed people living in this house for 100 years. And yet she is new to seeing someone text someone. And I don't know how that's possible when texting has been around for 2 decades. Literally.
I have Jonathan. You haven't done your wait what yet.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, I hope you do the one that you texted me because it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I was going to be
a
great.
lot of setup there, Jonathan. Don't
Yeah.
blow this.
Yeah, no,
And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Jonathan. The only other thing I had left was she's the worst real estate agent of all time. But we don't have to talk about that. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I don't know if this is it. She sees dead people, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that mean she's dead?
Ooh.
Isn't that this whole movie? Isn't this The Sixth Sense?
I mean, it's your gospel. You should know.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, the rules are very
Yes.
kind of whatever. They're soft. No, the one I was talking about, Jonathan, was the boxes of photos and all that stuff.
I don't understand. She died in 1925. Her parents died in the 50s. Nobody noticed the F. Scott Fitzgerald letter on the top of the box.
Oh, that's nothing. Just keep it moving.
Like nobody dug up. She didn't have to dig up. It was all right out
They
there.
should convert the ghost into another bathroom. That house is too big for just having 2 bathrooms.
That's true
Yeah,
too. That's
That
I'll finish up with a couple more, and then I'll jump off and go back to the other podcast I'm doing. Why is Ghosty's forehead so weird in the portrait?
portrait's creepy.
Portrait is creepy.
Yeah.
yeah, it's creepy. Although I did enjoy the end. I did predict the wink.
It's a
The
personal
wink, I
issue.
think.
My issue with the father is why would Lafitte Ping Kai be cast as the father? That is the shortest man who has ever been in a pot. They do Christmas movies with elves who are smaller than the father. this movie.
That's two elf comparisons, two different actors.
They
We're
shot
counting.
from every angle you could shoot to make him look vaguely taller, or maybe if he is 4'11", I'll eat my hat.
Abe Lincoln's hat.
And so my question is, why would they cast?
But he was like at a dragnet.
Why would they
His
cast
delivery was
one
at
of
a
the
dragnet.
Hall of Fame's greatest jockeys, other than Willie Shoemaker, I think the best jockey who's ever actually ridden a horse. I love Lafitte Pinkai, not for this movie.
Well, he had a jockey name. That's fantastic.
Let's get to what the Hallmark is for. We wonder what could have been, maybe having some clarity questions that we still have. Brian, what are you still wondering about? What are you losing sleep over, bud?
Yeah, did we find out what their business was together in their previous relationship?
I have so many questions about their previous relationship.
I assume it was like a
It's
restoration.
they said it enough times, so we should be invested, and then they never told us.
They never covered any, which
No.
maybe they just figured that's too much to get into.
They cut it out.
Yeah,
They cut it out.
They didn't anticipate us.
Hell yeah,
Didn't see us coming.
They didn't think anyone would care. Greg, what are you still wondering about?
I mean, I think, I kind of touched on it, but, the house was so great to me. I mean, by the way, I've been to the Playboy Mansion. It looks a lot like that. And so I was like, I love homes. I love this. So I was like, oh, look at this beautiful house. And I think I've shot at that house. If they shot in California, then I've shot a movie at that house. And that was previously owned by Richard Riordan, by the way, Jonathan. I believe that house. But I was more curious on that kind of stuff. I always wonder, like, when people eat, when they go to the bathroom, like stuff that you'd normally cut out of a movie. But I'm like, when is this happening? What's going on in this movie? But I didn't get resolution on the relationship. I didn't get resolution on the house. There were so many dangling things, which I guess is good for a part 2 that Jonathan's working on right now. So that's good.
Jonathan?
I want to know if the Flesher Building hearing is going to be appealed. I saw a lot of legal issues in that hearing. I was shocked that a zoning meeting like that would get a full house. You don't usually get that kind of
very high interest there.
High interest, and no one was allowed to talk or look at one another. So it's
It's a very specific hearing.
It's a very disturbing hearing. Lafitte Pinkai, when we first meet him, says the house has been, I wrote it down. It has been caretaken.
Yes.
Has been caretaken. I think what he's trying to say is the house has been taken care of.
He's trying to say that.
Caretaken.
It's been caretaken.
Fewer words. So.
Caretaken. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to be caretaken. And the only reason I bring it up is, I don't know if they had a script or if Lafitte was just allowed to.
Strictly
my feeling is that when you write a script like Jaime grooms a goat, that you use language which is both pleasing to the ear and actually the language you're speaking in, which is English. So I had questions about that. And then the last thing is, and this I don't know if this is politically correct.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Everybody quiet down.
Now he cares.
But what's the name of the male love interest? The lupine strange.
Elliot?
Yeah. He doesn't like women.
Wow.
So I don't. Does that come out in the next one?
Oh my.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wait. What? I mean, it just seems okay.
Yeah, no, that's.
I've got another wait what.
Thank you, Greg. Go.
Okay, so my other wait what is that the ghost can obviously talk to her, but it seemed at moments that she could talk to him. I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, he walks away and he's like, don't leave, you go back there, and he just stops in his tracks and turns around. And he's thinking, but I'm gay. And then he turns around and he goes back. No, there were those moments where I was like, wait a minute, what are the rules here? Like, can he, is it just that spirit?
That's the Holy Ghost.
Greg is responding to something that is kind of interesting, which is when you write a movie about a ghost and you turn it into a network, They don't really respond to any of the issues we've been talking about. All they want to know is, what are the rules with the ghost?
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you smell the ghost? Where does the ghost go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
The ghost cannot touch anything, but it can hold feathers, and it can max out a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily. I wanted to know what the ghost sounded like to Elliot, because it seemed like if she yelled loud enough, he would get like an essence,
Like
of
a feeling. Yeah.
Like, what did that sound like to him? Like, was it just like?
That's fair. My only what the hallmark was, she's been here for a while, and she's just now been able to go outside and investigate the world around her, only to be cut short and now have to go to spend eternity with, the love of her life. But hasn't seen this guy in forever. Is there any part of her you think that was like, pants are pretty cool? Like,
she thinks
what
amazing.
what if I get
world.
No kidding,
Pants,
like maybe
pants, civil rights, vibrators,
all the stuff,
kabuchi.
But you guys need, there's a line in the movie that you guys need to take to heart the next time you're on our podcast, How to Be Abe Lincoln, which is based on the book How to Be Abe Lincoln, written by Jonathan Shapiro. And that is that the ghost says, which I actually do find interesting, that talking about the past and the present, but when she says, you don't dress up for yourself, you dress up for others, or whatever. I'm butchering that. So just remember, guys are in dolphin shorts, and we do what we call in Hollywood a gum check on the set, because we can see your balls hanging out. So just think about that next time you come on.
Well, I will take this opportunity.
Westernmost in flavor, the pork pulling that I saw in their outfits.
I will take this opportunity to announce our OnlyFans. It's launching,
That's right.
and it's going to be hot stuff. And the first thing we post is just that episode in its entirety, and it's
something. Yeah.
But it's
You're
not
gonna pay big money for that
it's
video.
only-
6 legs.
Speaking of which, we're going to need that video from you guys.
we're gonna need that video. So, Dan,
I had one, and you guys alluded to it. I think Jonathan did earlier. I want to see the blueprint to this house, because if it only has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, there must be a planetarium in that beast. What are we?
True.
Are there all the rooms from Clue in there? Like, is there like a?
It's all about the title, though. Can you imagine the title being 7 bedrooms?
It doesn't make any sense.
4 bathrooms.
Maybe film in a smaller house, like a bungalow. I don't know.
That's
like
true.
they have only 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. There's 3,000 square foot of space that's just somebody's record collection, I guess. I don't know what it is. But it's something.
Parlor.
Well, it can't be a record collection, because the poor ghost only has 1 record.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I don't know what it is, but that's all I needed to know about.
we did, everybody. Congratulations. We broke down this movie. Jonathan Craig, thank you so much for joining us. Go check out the book, check out the podcast, maybe skip episode 3 now that we're talking about it.
No.
Just listen to episode 3. You guys were fantastic. You're the guest stars. You're the leaders.
I mean,
well,
God
and just
love you.
And can I just say thank you for allowing me to crash?
Greg, you're
this
coming
party.
back. You're coming back over the holidays.
I hope so. I know you're joking, but I would come back anytime. You guys are.
no. I have a lot of questions about saving cheerleaders and how it affects the world,
Greg.
but
it didn't do it.
Well, and we'll get there.
We've been talking about it for a decade.
We're not going to talk about it today.
upset.
I'm just saying.
Nope.
We could.
That's our What the Hero.
That's exactly right.
I like it.
We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas. And Happy Hanukkah.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is
Happy
produced by
Hanukkah.
Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.